Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Faforlife Health Talk series. Today I bring to you good news that you cannot refuse. Come close. Now, picture this if this is you. You are a wife, you woke up in the morning trying to prepare yourself for work, you prepared food for the kids, you prepared for your husband, you took your kids to school. Now on your way rushing to meet up with work, you were faced with a lot of traffic.
5 minutes before 6 this morning is hell of traffic.
You even have a 5 minutes quarrel with the conductor. You got to the office, you were queried by your boss because you came very late. Now, you begin your work. You were given loads of work to actually accomplish. You're done. You have to rush back home because you need to meet up with your kids by taking them from school. In the course of doing that, you were faced with another traffic again. You succeed in taking your kids from the school. You prepare food for them. You have to prepare for your husband. Now, for the men, this applies to you as well. You ensure that you have to wake up in the morning, go to work, hustle very hard in order for you to prepare and put food for the table because after all, you're a man. But all of this results to what I want to share with us today: stress. It is not impossible to take away stress completely, but there are coping mechanisms by which you can actually work around stress. We've been able to see that there is an elaborate relationship between stress, illness, and health. 90% of the disease and illness that we suffer from as humans is linked to stress. Now, what is this stress? Stress is your body response. Could be psychological, it could be physiological, to an event or a condition you consider a threat or a challenge. Stress is actually categorized into types. We have the stress 1 and we have the stress 2. Stress 1 is subcategorized into 2 types, and one of them is called eustress. Now, eustress is a good kind of stress. It is beneficial. This is actually good for us as humans. But the second type is called the distress. This is what we call the toxic stress. Run away from toxic stress. This could actually result into death. Now, let's talk about the stress 2. Stress 2, we have the acute stress. This is your body response to a new challenging condition. Now we have the episodic stress. This episodic stress is a type of stress that occurs frequently on daily basis. We have the chronic stress. This is a type of stress that occurs on a long period of time, repeatedly over and over and over and over again. Now you begin to wonder why somebody commits suicide. You begin to wonder why somebody is depressed. These are some of the things that the person suffers from. These are the types of stress the person suffers from. What is actually the causes of this stress? Remember, I shared some with us, but there are some other causes of this stress. Number 1 is money. Ego. If there is no money, there is a way your brain is wired where you could feel depressed, anger, and all of these things is actually connected to absence of money. Making money is actually relieves stress. Some persons call it vitamin M. Anyways, that was on a lighter mood. Now, another thing that actually causes this stress is what we call overwork. Remember that the example I gave to you, the woman who did a lot of work in the office. She sat for a long period of time. She has to take her kids from school. All of this results to stress. Now, another thing that can actually cause this stress is not exercising. Your inability to exercise results to stress. So, there are some symptoms that are accompanied when you are stressed out. There are some things you feel. You begin to say, is it that I'm about dying? It is actually connected to stress, and stress is the resultant effect of the experience you are having. One of it is burnout. If you are stressed out on a long period of that, you burn out. You won't be able to do anything. Stress has been linked to heart diseases. Stress in itself has been linked to menstrual pattern that is changed over time. Now you see some ladies who they are complaining, but I'm alright, I'm not having infections, but they don't know it because they are stressed out, and that automatically affects their menstrual cycle. Sometimes it could become irregular, it could become heavy or scanty. It is because stress is what is triggering a hormone called the stress hormone that is affecting the changes they are seeing as regards to their menstrual cycle. There are some other symptoms you may feel, like you remember the man I told you, you return from work, you may not be able to perform as a man. Low libido, poor premature ejaculation. These are some of the things you see when you are stressed out. For some persons, you may see what we call back pain or chronic headache. You take drugs over and over and over again. The headache do not go. Why? Because of stress. Obesity Disorder in eating. These are some of the symptoms you feel. Now, you think eating always at a time, you become very hungry, you want to eat. After some time, you're hungry again, you want to eat. Stress is actually linked to that. Now, remember I said you cannot automatically eradicate stress completely, but there are ways you can actually work around the stress. And the ways are called coping mechanisms. These are mechanisms by which you can properly handle this stress. One of them is staying off. Stay off completely. Once you notice you're stressed out, stop whatever you're doing and try to rest. Rest is another way you can actually cope with stress. Go take your bath, go for a stroll, spend time with nature, spend time with your friends and families. These are some of the ways you can actually cope or handle stress better. If you are in a toxic relationship, give it some space, because it is important to ensure that your mental health is working at optimum. As well, you have to eat healthy. If all of these that I've said do not give you the results you want by calming you down as regards to ensuring that stress is being minimized, meet a professional hand for help. And one other way you can actually handle this stress is supplementation therapy. It can help act as supportive therapy by relieving symptoms of this stress. One of them is Faforlife. Another one is Salud. These are organic liquid stem cells that can help rejuvenate worn out cells, especially after having a stressful day. In these liquid stem cells are some active ingredients. They are called adaptogen. They can actually help one replace those worn out cells, repair those worn out cells. To cap it all, giving you this kind of rejuvenation. That is why when you wake up in the morning, you feel relieved of this stress. And in these liquid stem cells, they contain anti-inflammatories as well. So imagine getting tired, having pain from the stressful day. In these liquid stem cells, you're going to have a replenishment, mopping out those toxins that were actually deposited due to the oxidative state that you were because you were stressed out. Another one is Spidex 20. Spidex 20 has the ability for women to relieve stress. Stress on a long run shouldn't result into depression, shouldn't result into aging, because we found that stress in itself can as well lead to aging. Now, in as much as you're using that expensive organic cream, you notice that your skin is still shrinking. You are 28, but you're looking like a woman who's 78. Why? Stress. So this is one of the reasons you need Spidex 20 to help minimize the rate at which you are being affected by stress. Another supplement is called Spidex 21. Now this has the ability as well to ensure that stress is being minimized for men. So today I employ my viewers that you should not give in to stress. Refuse to be stressed out. Whenever you notice that, back up, look for ways, just like I've explained, to work around stress. Thank you very much. Meet you another Monday. Bye.